Welcome to Bullet Point. We are your host. I'm EP.
I'm JM.
Every week we're going to talk about competitive shooting and everything around it.
So if you're an aficionado, enthusiast, a beginner, or just curious, this is your show.
So you can easily connect with us through PHLV Radio Facebook page, Bullet Point Facebook page, or simply email us at bulletpointmediaproduction@gmail.com.
Now, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel so you'd be able to get the latest episodes of Bullet Point. Are you ready?
Stand by. All right, guys. JM, how's your weekend? Here we go again.
It's like groundhog.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's always on the range. We're always shooting.
Yeah, that's all we do.
Yeah, and then next week we'll do the same thing. It's rinse and repeat.
Exactly.
But we always have fun, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
With the sun up,
yeah,
we always have fun.
Sun scorching and blazing.
I know.
Right?
That was hell there, but I always enjoy shooting with you guys.
Yeah, same.
That's
same.
what
likewise,
it is.
Likewise.
So what do we have this week?
Yes, we do have a treat for our listeners. We have a special guest.
Yeah, I love that.
So this person is shaking up the gun scene, the custom gun scene.
Yes.
From his bench to the range, right? And he earned the fastest reputation, not just a builder, but an open shooter.
Yes.
And somebody who knows what it takes to get it to the next level, to get the craft. A competition-ready machine.
Yeah, definitely. We're diving into how a shooter's mindset, changes when they're also the maker.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So the challenges of breaking into a crowded market and where the future of open gun is headed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially this is exactly our
this is
our
you
division.
and me, bro.
Yeah. It's not just about the fancy slides and compensators. It's about precision, performance, and passion.
Definitely. Let's get into it. Introduce our guest today.
Absolutely.
All right.
None other than John Sims.
Yes. All right. Welcome to the show, John.
Hello. Glad to be here. Thank you guys so much.
Definitely. Thank you. I know you're busy and and very focused on what you're doing. That's why we would want to pick your brain today, share what you've been doing. A lot. So, guys, here we go, Mr. John Sims, right?
Right. No, this is awesome. I've known John for a couple of years now. We've shot together, locally. I think I'll fire off the first question, right? So let's take a step back. What got you in shooting?
Oh, that's right.
I think like most boys growing up, I got into guns and was like, wow, guns are so cool. I got my first shotgun when I was 18. I went and bought a Mossberg. I thought I was the coolest kid in the world.
Yeah.
I turned 21. I got a handgun. Yeah, I didn't practice. I didn't do the things that I should when I had those, but I really enjoyed having them and kind of tinkering with them. I thought they were so cool. Started using those. I did start doing IDPA, so that's actually how I got my start in this world was through IDPA.
Nice.
I had a Kimber Ultra 45 that I used. So we did some matches out at IDPA. I made all the mistakes, but it was a great learning curve.
Definitely.
I learned a lot from these guys and was like, wow, this is where I need to be.
Right.
And then one of the guys told me, he was like, hey, you should come out to a USPSA match. And I was like, what is this now? Something, what is this?
Like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I go to my first one, same Kimber Ultra 45. I had a little chintzy little belt, and I get out there, and I was like, what is going on here? These guys are like NASCAR drivers. I'm afraid to even pull my gun out of the holster. So sure enough, I just started competing and learned so much so quick. And the gun, as you guys know, this gun world, the shooter community, it's a family.
Yeah,
definitely.
You
I agree.
Everybody helps
so
everybody.
True, yeah.
And I learned that right away. Hey, these guys are here to help you. We're here to have fun, but they're going to help you the whole way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that's how I felt, too, when I was new shooting.
Yeah.
And people are helping me, very gentle people,
Right.
helping me. And I pay that forward, too, wherever I go. So, beginner shooter, I teach them,
New
it's
shooters,
just how the community is. You're so right, John. Yeah.
I think it's an unspoken, atmosphere
Yes.
around, whenever we do like level 1 matches or level 2, even the new shooters, right?
Yeah.
because we've been in that situation before where we don't know or what, especially like you're explaining stages to them, right? But yeah, no, you know, so I'm sure, you know, Kimber 45, that's like a cannon. To me, that's like
I know it. In fact, when he mentioned that, okay, how did he do it in the USPSA match, right?
It was horrible.
But you learn from it. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I quickly switched to a Glock, kind of like everybody, and then just upgraded from there.
I started Glock too, you know?
Yeah.
So, I know Kimber 45 is a good gun, but, you know, definitely... I wouldn't know if I would say that's a good gun for USPSA, but we all had that experience before we started.
That first firearm,
exactly.
Right?
Even me, for people who ask me questions, start first what you have. You know, feel it first if this is a game for you.
Yeah.
You know? So that's good. But there's nobody influenced you or inspired you to start shooting or, you know, going into the gun world?
Not necessarily. Since I did own the guns and I eventually wanted to carry them, I did want to kind of just get more proficient with the weapons.
Yes. What you carry?
Yeah, for a daily carry. I didn't want to just go stand and shoot at a target. You know, I wanted to be like, hey, you know, if I need to move and use this, what better way than do it in a course of fire?
Exactly. That's exactly our mindset, right?
Right.
So, okay, you got a gun, and then you get a 50 bullet, and then shoot it in range. Nah, you know, we would want to have a purpose at least, right?
Right.
100%.
And shoot it, right?
When did you transition from that platform to a much different platform for like race style?
Yeah.
Whether
So
it's limited or open.
I started in limited, so I started with a Glock. I actually started with a Glock 21, which is a 45. Horrible idea for USPSA.
Yeah.
But I quickly upgraded to an STI Apiro 45. I still, for some reason, I had this in my brain, I need a 45.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible idea.
Well, actually, that's not unique. I grew up with 45.
Yeah.
Filipinos would always think of 45, and we don't look at 9mm as a gun. We look at it as a toy.
Sure.
Right? So.
So I had the STI Apiro 45. Really loved the gun. You know, limited was great.
Yeah.
A local shooter here, Kevin Acuff. He was our open shooter back in the days. Did you ever meet Kevin?
No.
So Kevin Acuff, he was like our open guy here in Vegas. We didn't have too many open shooters.
Okay.
So I'm shooting with him. You know, we became good friends, and he's the one kind of telling me, he's like, man, you were fast on your feet. You should be shooting open. So when I seen his gun for the first time, I was like, what is that?
It's long.
What is going on here?
What's the scope?
I had never even seen one. You know, I saw the Infinities maybe on the back, or the SBIs on the magazines, but I've never seen one in person, let alone seen it shot. So I was hooked. I was like, man, if I'm going to go fast, I want to go fast.
Definitely, yeah.
So
we were talking about race guns last week, right?
Yeah.
So is it going to end or what? You know, it's just a question that we have to throw out there.
Right,
So,
right.
But yeah, the race gun is actually the ultimate for competitive shooting, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we think about it. So yeah. So on the crafting gun, custom guns. That's what you're into today. You know, we would want to know the journey that you have in custom building. What inspired you to start building custom, and how did you transition from, I know you're still a shooter, but shooter mindset to a gun maker mindset?
Yeah, so about 12 years ago when I started shooting USPSA, I also met Eddie Garcia. EMG Customs. At the time, he was kind of just transitioning from Cameron's Custom Guns. He started doing his own thing with EMG Customs. I met him through Kevin. Kevin was good friends with him. That's how I met Eddie. I was Cerakoting at the time. So I started Cerakoting guns 12 years ago, kind of for everybody here in town.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, friends, USPSA shooters.
Maybe you've touched every gun here already.
I'm pretty sure I've Cerakoted everybody's gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Miko is a
number one client,
long time customer.
Miko is my number one guy.
Exactly.
I've done all his
punch card.
I've done all his guns, his friends' guns, his family's guns. So starting with the Cerakote, you know, I'm really learning the guns, taking them down, learning different tolerances. Like, okay, here's a XYZ gun. It's kind of loose. You know, they don't care about tolerances or certain fittings. Then I get EMG Customs in my shop, and I was like, wow, I can't even take this thing apart. You know, he puts so much effort and love into each little part. It's hard to even grasp that this would fit with a coating on it. So that's where my appreciation for Eddie kind of started. And then I ended up buying an EMG Customs, getting into the open world. So my first true open gun that I bought was from Eddie.
Was Eddie?
Yeah.
Was an EMG Customs. I went right to the top. I was like, hey, if I'm going to drive a Super, it's going to be a twin turbo.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
it.
right. That's just how it is.
Eddie's gun is top notch, man. That's still the goal for open shooters is to get
Eddies,
EMG,
right? Yeah. In fact, especially us here in this area, we talk about Eddie a lot.
So that's how I started into the open world. Shot for the past 12 years. Really enjoyed the ride. Open is the way to go for me. I love going fast. I love being the true NASCAR on the field. Like, hey, here comes the fast guys.
Yeah.
PCC came around, and it's kind of a different world. And I think in the handgun world, it's still open.
I cannot compare that. The PCC,
I agree.
The open gun has its own world.
Yeah,
literally,
right,
you're right.
right.
Yeah,
it really is. Mm-hmm. So for recently, about a year and a half ago, I decided I really don't want to do what I'm doing anymore at work. So I've been doing my field for about 22 years now.
What are you doing again? Sorry, John.
Automotive.
Okay.
So I'm an automotive trainer for dealerships kind of all over the country.
That's okay.
So building guns, I was like, I think I could do this, man. I've done Cerakote for so long. I have a great attention to detail. I care about the product that I'm putting out. So I talked to Eddie. I'm like, hey, we became really good friends. We talk day in, day out. So I'm like, hey, would you teach me how to build a gun? Because he's never taught anybody.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
He was like, actually, yeah. I will teach you how to build a gun.
Wow.
That's
awesome. I was like, well, first of all, man,
Yeah.
I am beyond honored.
Yeah.
Dude, wow.
He's actually giving you a trade secret right there.
Trades.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. So we'll get into later. But
Yeah.
everything I post online, there's a ton I don't post.
Yeah.
So all the stuff, Eddie's like, hey, don't post that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I get it, dude. Our secrets, your secrets,
Definitely.
need to stay here.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. For the past year and a half, I've been milling, lathing everything. Each little process, just really dialing it in and nailing it down. And I'm very confident saying nowadays that him and I, with the training, I'm putting out a good product, and I'm proud of it already.
All these videos that you send out there is only high level. The intricacies, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah, it's more of like what the general population would
do anyway.
Yeah, would see. Yeah.
Definitely, because you're a gun maker, you would want to keep that trade secret for you.
Right, sure.
So that's your value right there.
Yeah.
So speaking about Jim, about the how fast open shooting is, maybe I would want to correlate that, because many builders stay low key for years before they go out there, right? So how did you manage to gain popularity as fast, like an open gun? You're so fast and quickly in such a very competitive market, if I may say it.
Right.
Because I agree, it's a very competitive market out there.
It is. Compared to, like, obviously with other gun builders, right?
Yeah.
That's already there, right?
They've been there for so many years.
Right.
How did you gain that popularity?
Yeah, so I think it's two, maybe three parts. So one, obviously, people know that EMG is trading me. And they know that EMG is the guy. He's like literally the best open gun builder in the country.
Okay.
So that's obviously my huge in right away. They're like, oh man, if he's teaching him, it's going to be great.
There you go.
The second thing is the fact that I've been Cerakoting for so long for all these people. The word of mouth of them saying, hey, he gave me a great product.
Yeah.
He did it in a quick turnaround time. My gun's great.
The integrity,
if there was a problem,
credibility is there.
Yeah. If there's a problem, he took care of it. I make mistakes, but I'll stand by it and I'll make it correct. Mm-hmm. And just the word of mouth from shooters, man. Becoming friends with all these fellow shooters and helping them on the field and just talking to everybody all these years, making friends. 100% has made my in of selling guns.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I know the gun building is for me, it's like beyond my comprehension. There's only like certain levels that I understand.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Certain things, right? And John has kind of knows a lot more deeper than that when he started building. So, your philosophy in designing an open gun, right? Is it more pushing the boundaries or just kind of redefining or refining the proven method or proven designs?
Right. So right now, I would definitely say that mine is an EMG clone. Mm-hmm. People, I've heard that in the field. People say, "Well, it just looks like an EMG." Well, yeah, it looks like an EMG. He's the one training me.
Nice. Yeah.
So is that a negative thing? So for right now, cosmetically, it's going to kind of look like an EMG because I've focused so much on what goes into the gun.
Yes.
I want it to be reliable. Cosmetics were my second, third, fourth, way down in the field.
Yeah.
I really care about the gun functioning for a long time.
Definitely, yeah.
With the Cerakote options, I really enjoy being able to give some options on color. People
actually, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
They
now
always
you have
want to
options.
customize.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a custom
Definitely,
everything.
yeah.
So being able to do that has been huge. But to put my own mark on it, I really haven't decided yet on what's going to really stand out of that's one of Saigon's.
Yeah.
I don't have out there yet, other than hey, that's a great looking gun. It looks like an Eddie, which to me is a compliment all day.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Wow. I think the main thing that us open shooters, right? We want reliability,
especially for open guns,
right? We know the intricacy of how to dial in, your firearm or your tool, but and it sucks every time that we see an open gun that would go down, whoever like other builders that would we see it on the range and be like, oh,
it happens,
man, so
here we go again.
Yep. So your focus on reliability is super big on your product. With when you're building a gun, right? If you can walk us through some of the just kind of bullet point process. What's the signature detail that tells the people, that's a Saigon, and you mentioned that could be an Eddie clone, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, is there any other features that would kind of distinctively? Because I've noticed it now. And I've followed his, build process, and I've seen the first gun.
I enjoy actually
one,
looking into it.
When he built the gun for Brandon, right? I ran to the safety table right away with Brandon. Hey, let me.
So
see
you checked it out, right? Yeah.
So it's already kind of building to that, So what's
a building process?
Is there any thought
correct.
when you're building it? I'm like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to build for this guy, or is there a kind of like a template that you follow?
Not yet. So that's still going to be. We'll just call it an EMG clone. I'm okay calling it that. I do have my. I really enjoy the 1911 serrations in the back. Eddie really doesn't do that. He does the panel cuts.
Yeah.
That may be their signature now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I copied it from him. It's not, they're his serrations.
They're his. Okay.
Yeah.
But I enjoy how that looks. My goal originally was to use laser engraving to kind of do all over the slide and add some flair here and there. But now I'm deep in orders and people want their guns, so now I'm like, well, do I spend time trying to customize these or just pump out a really good gun? So that's kind of where I'm at right now is building quality guns as fast as I can. Next step will be like, okay, we need to make something signature, and that'll be coming next.
Nice.
Wow, that's awesome, guys. So you heard it from John, right? So what's been the biggest challenge, John, that you face in turning your passion into this business now? Because I've seen one of those posts that you have, you're getting serious. You got a place where you would manufacture this gun. Now this is the next level. So what was the biggest challenge for you?
Easy answer. So here in Vegas, it's really tough to get an FFL out of a commercial building. So for one, you cannot get an FFL out of your house, unfortunately, in Las Vegas. Getting a commercial location, we had to get it approved by not only the landlord, but the building owner. So me and my real estate agent, through the whole process, we would get an approval from the landlord. And then,
but not the owner.
We talked to the owner, which the majority of the building owners live in California.
Oh, wow.
So that right away will tell you,
that's a roadblock.
That's a challenge there.
Big
they hear the word gun, they're like, nope, I don't want anything to do with it.
Hey, listen up for it. Nope.
I don't even have a chance to explain what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I can say, hey, no ammo on premises. They don't care. They say they hear gun, they're like, I don't want anything to do with it. So finding a location took me about 2 years to find a location.
2 years?
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So I got the approval. It was nowhere near my house. I said, I'll take it. I don't care where it is.
That's right. Well, we're in Vegas.
I don't care.
We're in Vegas, right? So, yeah. So we went into, you're an open shooter, so we would want to get your insight, shooter to builder perspective. We've been asking that anyway. Yeah. So as an active open shooter, how does that influence the way you design and tweak your guns?
Sure. So I think this is going to play a big role in longevity of my customers and retention, because once you have an open gun, that's not it. There's so much involved with loading. You're not going to find many 38 Super Comp manufacturers out there. So buying ammo is probably not going to happen. You're going to be loading.
Yes.
So the process between myself and my customer is going to be, hey, I want you to make the ammo, send me your ammo. For one, I want to make sure that it works in my gun that I'm building for you. Yeah. Two, I want to make sure you're loading correctly.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been loading a long time, and
so
I have a lot of
So
experience.
you're going to look into your OAL,
everything,
crimp, all this stuff,
our tolerances on open guns are so tight. So the tiniest little thing that you change on a load, on an ammo load, is going to play a role in probably down your gun.
Yes.
Just real quick, briefly, one of the most common mistakes on people loading is the crimp.
The crimp.
The crimp itself.
They over crimp it?
Either over crimp it, and that's going to cause accuracy issues, or they're not crimping enough.
It's going to tumble.
And now that the bell or the flower that you're seeing on the case is actually scraping on your feed ramp and slowing down your slide.
Yeah.
So there's a chance it's not going to feed.
Wow.
So it's these little things, I think it's really going to play a big role in keeping people happy and keeping guns running.
Now, currently, it's just 38 Super Comp that you're offering to build.
Correct.
Any option for a 9 major down the road?
So the problem with 9 major is the fact that you have a small case, so you're already loading the round long, right? So now you have an extended OAL.
Yes.
So now I'm needing to re-throat the chamber of the barrel, which means I'm removing the rifling. So let's say that customer then changes the load again. They get a new profile bullet, or they back down the OAL. Now the bullet itself is going to jump into the rifling, and your accuracy is going to be all over the board.
Yeah.
So now let's say I built that gun for a certain round. Customer changes the ammo. The gun's out there in a match. It's down. It's not running.
Yeah.
All people are going to see is, hey, there's a side gun not running.
Yeah.
So I'm really afraid to start building 9s,
right?
Unless it's somebody I can really trust, and hey, we stick to a certain ammo.
Wow,
that's awesome.
You know what I like about what he was saying. Especially nowadays in marketing your business.
Yeah.
If you're known, you're gonna grow big because it's very specific of what you would want in your business.
There's a niche, right?
Not just a master, jack of all trades, and master of none. Yeah. Especially now, the market is looking for something like that.
Yeah.
You're specifically building super comp, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a signature right there.
When I don't know if you recall this, John, when you and I I was in your garage, and he was fixing my 38 Super Comp, right?
Yeah.
So, I've spoken to him about, hey, when are you going to open up? There's no gun builder here in Las Vegas or Nevada within reach basically, right? Or any gunsmithing, something to that nature, right?
Yes.
And having at least knowing him now that there's there's a business up and running, and the atmosphere, the crowd loves it. The reception to that. Knowing that he's out there slowly building open guns with the framework and background and blessing of Eddie, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more receptive than starting from scratch.
Hey, I'm building a gun, and then people goes, okay. Now, hey, I'm being trained by the best.
Right.
Okay, tell me more about it. That changes the ballgame.
It does. It does.
Guys, wait for me. I'm going to be making my own gun, okay?
We're building Legos.
Yeah.
We're going to build Legos.
All right. That's great.
So, what's the common misconception, I would say, like shooters have about open guns that you wish you could correct?
Man, I think that is just a buy out of the box and it's going to run. This is not something that it's like a Glock where you can just shoot it and shoot it. Like I see you cleaning yours all the time, which I applaud you. This is something you really have to do with this kind of gun. You got to treat it like a Ferrari.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think I learned that that all of these open guns, really. It's a very sensitive gun.
Very sensitive.
Yeah.
That's why I post all of this, all of the stuff. TLCs. You have to love it. You have to really know your gun, really. So that's good. I love that. You have to take care of your guns, guys. Especially open guns.
Really do. You really do.
So, like, another follow-up on that, right? Like, let's put skills aside.
Okay.
Right? Do you see a gap between, like, top shooters, need versus what the average, buyers think they need?
No. So I think it comes down to reliability 100%. Right. So, when you're a top-tier shooter, you can't have one malfunction in a match.
Oh, it's over.
I mean, look at these guys. They're
so
within
right.
3 points of each other in a major
Yes.
match out of 2,000 points.
Yeah.
Imagine your gun goes down for one rack.
That's over.
You're
And we've
over.
seen that many times, even
Yeah.
in World Shoot.
Yeah.
So is it going to make you faster? No.
Yeah.
Is it going to be more fun to shoot? Yeah. Is it going to look better? Yeah.
Well, I'm for aesthetics.
Yeah, you really should. I mean, you're spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
You should really enjoy what you're looking at, what you're seeing, what you're handling, and reliability, knowing that it's there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good. I actually am learning a lot today, right? So, John, here, what's your current open gun setup? Any unique modification that are not common in the market?
Now, ironically, I'm still shooting an EMG Customs because I haven't had time to build my own.
For some reason, I thought the first one that you built was for you, but it was for Brendan.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, maybe he's doing now this
Right.
gun for himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I could see how he shoots it, but now it's for Brendan.
No, it'll be real soon. I am going to make
Okay.
one within the next couple of months for myself, just so people can see it out there and see that it's running and be able to handle it at matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. But now, have you noticed certain trends in open guns that are just hype, and others are just genuinely performance driven?
Oh, I like this. Yeah. It's a good question.
Well, I think we're incredibly limited right now for open guns. I mean, how many builders are actually left doing open? Atlas is pretty much out of the game. You got Rafferty out of the game.
Right.
McLaren, I guess, is still doing open guns, so that he's a good builder out there, still doing open guns. Infinity, I know you're an Infinity fan. They're still out there doing open guns. Man, I don't know about that one. I don't see any new trends. I mean, even just like myself. I mean, what am I going to change on it? It's worked for so many years, and other than Apollo is probably the only one out there that's trying to change the game, right? He CNCs everything himself.
Right.
Have you seen those?
I've seen those.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
So they look completely different. So
Nationals.
I'll give him credit. He's kind of the Cybertruck right now of open guns, and all the credit to him. He's doing a great job of that.
Yeah. Well, these are people who would want to see if other trends or other modifications may work. That's a different business thinking, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure,
Right.
100%.
I think it's just more on the aesthetic side of things that would be a hype or trend.
Color.
Colors. One
Design,
thing we do differently now that I have adopted is the shorter barrel. So right now the barrel comp setup that I use that I got from Eddie is half-inch shorter than most open guns out there.
Yeah, I've seen. Oh, we would want to show that later on, the one that you brought, because I noticed that when I held it, it was a shorter
That is
barrel.
short.
In fact, I had a question about that, if it's okay.
Yeah.
What's maybe this is a misconception. Is it the longer barrel is more tame than a shorter barrel? How does it work?
So not really at all, right? You really need to tune your powder for the load that you have. I mean, if you have popple holes in your barrel, like mine as an example here, I have 4 popple holes in the barrel, and then a 2-port comp. Right.
Oh.
So if you change that to let's say a 3-port comp, and now you're adding an extra 3/4 of an inch on the end of your barrel.
Yes.
It's going to feel differently, right? So the ones we've seen feel softer, but it does affect your dot movement. So now your dot is not a true up and down. You're getting kind of just weird flickering.
Yeah.
So it feels softer in your head, but you're hurting
all
yourself.
over the place. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, guys, we learn something every day.
Yeah, no, there's so much science behind the gases that
100%.
That's what
works
the
around
powder
it,
you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
The powder load
Right.
and all this stuff.
A lot, I've noticed like a lot of people doesn't just dive in deeply and try to at least study what they know about. If they have an open gun, they think, oh, I'm going to load. This is my load. I'll stick to my load and I'll shoot it. Gun's running. That's fine.
Yep.
Right? There's more to that, right?
Oh,
there's the accuracy. There's the reliability. And to what he said, the ammo is a big component of that. I would say probably 30-40% of that, other than the rest of the gun working.
Not unless you just want to have an open gun and shoot it.
Yeah.
That's okay, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you're competitive and then you really look into every detail of how you shoot, what's the effect,
Sure.
you're
have
very
to nerd
metric
out on
driven.
it. You have to nerd out on it.
Definitely. You have to really look into the details, just like what you were telling about. You're so attention to detail.
Sure.
You look into every part of it. That's good.
Yeah. So let's talk about Psy guns, right? You're trying to build that brand, in a field of builders, right? With names, in the custom gun industry, right? How do you differentiate yourself, not just in product, but how do you connect with the shooting community?
So Instagram has been a blessing for me, right? So I post stories all day long when I'm building these guns. At first I was like, are people really going to want to see this? It's kind of boring. I did chop it down to doing some time-lapse videos, and that's helped. But I've come to find out I'm getting tons of messages. People enjoy seeing it.
I enjoy seeing it.
Yeah, me too.
I like it.
Okay, so what is John up to today?
Oh, he's cutting the slide. Yeah. Awesome.
and it's so repetitive. I keep doing it gun after gun, and I'm like, well, I did this last month, so I post it again, and sure enough, I get the views. So that's been a blessing to me. Is I have a good amount of followers on Instagram. I feel that they're all shooters, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And those guys care. They send me messages. I try to help every single one of them. They're like, hey, I'm not going to buy a gun, but can you help me? I'm like, hell yeah.
Right.
That's right. And I'm one of those followers. So.
Well, thank you for that.
So your reputation built so fast, right? Not just on the open competitive side, but the gun builder. You mentioned social media was a factor when you were building the first one. So how many have you built already?
So this, I'm on number technically 5 right now. The first one I completely destroyed. It's in my safe.
Yeah.
Right? It'll never be shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so bad I never even shot it to test it.
Oh, really? No, that's, you know what? When the time comes, you're so huge, you're going to go back to that one gun.
That's why it's still in there.
Look at it.
You put it on...
I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
It looks fine.
Yeah.
Cosmetically, you wouldn't know the difference, but the internals are all wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, I made all the mistakes possible on that one.
The tagline is, this is not what to do. How not to do it.
Yes. Well, I even had to weld that one back together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Enrico will say yes to that.
Yeah, I'll say yes to that.
The prototype one.
No, because when the time comes, he's so huge already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell that to Pawn Stars.
So, when getting the customers, right? Was it more word of mouth, or they came organically?
It started with friends already knowing that it was coming. Mm-hmm. And then definitely word of mouth, them telling their friends, and before you know it, I'm getting messages like, hey, when can you build me a gun? I was like, wow, this is really happening. Overnight, like you said, it's like, hey, we're here, ready to buy some guns. I was like, what?
Wow,
that's awesome.
So here we go.
Great.
Yeah,
that's why we have John here today. Come on, John, tell us your secrets. What feedback that you're getting from your customers now, or even pro shooters, that actually stuck into you most?
I think just talking with Eddie day in and day out, Eddie Garcia, just listening to how much he cares of each little step that he's putting into his gun. Like just blown away at to the level of detail that he cares. Things that you as a shooter would never even see. Mm-hmm. The things that he's polishing and blending, they're never gonna see it.
Wow!
But he's doing that because he's like, hey, there's a chance this will help the gun.
Yeah.
Same with Ed Cameron of Cameron Custom Guns. I've spent a lot of time with him. Old school. He has a lot of really neat tricks, and I learned a lot from him as well. So these guys just learning their trade and seeing those individual little nitpicks is really
actually
helps.
Which is very important in gun making. You know?
Very important.
Yeah.
Every little part of it, especially
Every
the open
detail.
gun, you know,
Yeah.
it has to be polished.
Sure.
I mean, you
It
know,
really does.
And then again, what I like about what John said a while ago that he got from Eddie was the love into making the gun.
It's passion.
100%.
The passion is actually there. You'd feel it. You know, not just, you know, those big manufacturers out there.
Yeah.
They just make it just because they have to sell a lot.
Sure.
Right,
But
right.
this one is like the Ferrari you're talking about, or
100%.
you know, others are just like the Toyotas. Not to demean Toyota.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have to make millions
Yeah.
of cars.
Yep.
Right.
You know, they can make how many cars in a week?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, but in
Oh,
a
yeah.
Ferrari, it takes about years to build one,
Sure.
something like
Right,
that, right?
right.
That's good. I like
well,
it.
there are builders out there that are, you know, more mass produced.
Yeah.
You know, more of a cookie cutter
Sure.
template,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then
Definitely.
this is just basically cut and then you know, put together and then off to the next one.
That's
and
right.
Off to different line. This is a one person only from start to finish. You know, and you know, we're lucky to have it here.
You know, cars like that, you'd see product recall.
And you do. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly, because hey, you've been doing so fast, so
Yeah.
quick. You know,
we hear it all
Yeah,
the time,
exactly.
right? We hear it all the
really do.
time.
That's what it is. So yeah. So, and is there any upcoming collaborations or project that you're excited to reveal to us soon?
No, unfortunately not. No,
Okay.
no, other than limited optics. You know, I am getting the question
we
of,
talked
hey,
about it.
Ooh,
you know,
that's right.
are you going to do LOs? I know it's huge, but I really wanted to focus on building the best open gun because right now you have a few options for LOs out there, right?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
get some good LOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open guns, you're pretty limited.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Again, that's a marketing strategy
Yeah.
and your vision, your business. You know, kudos to you, bro. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
right.
so supply and demand right now for open, I came in at the most perfect time I could have for me as a business owner. It's literally they're very limited for shooters out there right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, we always want to see our business evolve, right? And what you see yourself down the line. So as a custom gun builder, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? You know, are we at the edge of the performance ceiling, or you know, there's more to explore?
With building, I think it's still going to remain the same. You know, I still want to do the best possible quality. You know, sponsoring some matches obviously is going to happen. I want to be more kind of prominent out there in faces and talking to all the people and getting feedback. And just like Eddie, I really want to be involved with my customers. You know, once the gun leaves, I don't want to just say, hey, you know, good luck, see you later.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to be like, hey, you know, I just saw you shoot a stage. You know, how was it? How did it feel? You know,
Yeah.
do you want to improve this?
Wow.
You know, I really want to be involved with all of these guys.
Well, that's a good businessman right there. You know, you're owning every little detail of your gun. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a secret too.
Right.
And another signature of you.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
counting.
Yeah,
That's good.
No, follow through
Yeah.
is very important with your product, right?
Yeah.
It's not just you know
You just didn't
paid
buy
me
a gun and
you
that's
pay-
it.
Yeah, you pay me the money. All right,
Okay.
email me when there's an issue.
Just
right?
like what he said. Okay, good luck. Bye.
Yeah.
You know,
See you
man.
later.
So, if you had the power to change one thing in USPSA's open division rule to foster innovation, what would that be? I don't know if you're already in that position, but maybe it's a good thing to talk about if you have something.
You know, they've evolved pretty well. I would say,
I agree.
as open shooters, I don't really see any restrictions other than, you know, maybe the rule about how far it has to be from your belt. You know, the two-finger rule.
yeah, the
You know, they're
two-finger
kind of
rule,
strict
yeah.
on that when you go
Yeah.
to nationals,
Yeah.
and I don't see.
or even IPSC.
Yeah,
Even if
exactly.
they're gonna have this card, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's
Like
all right,
you're
yeah.
not gaining anything by having it canted a little bit out. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen people be sent home because or shoot for no score because of
In
that.
fact,
Damn.
that's so true.
Like,
You
oh,
know?
come on,
Yeah.
man.
Ouch.
Same with the
One,
magazines.
one of our good friends nearly had it.
Yeah.
It's good that
Yeah.
he actually went to the RO. You know, this is a stage that they have to check it first.
Yeah.
You know, it's good that he did that
Yep.
before the event starts. Otherwise, he's gonna go home.
Sure.
Oh, man.
And it's an 8-hour drive.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So, you know, we talk about the future, right? Do you think the future of custom guns will lean more on towards like modular systems, or it's still going to be like hand fitted, custom, unique builds, would have a place in that.
Sure. Yeah. So I think they're both still going to coincide with each other, right? So you still get the cookie cutters that are going to go shoot a match once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get the guys that really want to compete. They want to grow. They want to get better. As a reminder, you can't do that with a cookie cutter. That gun's going to fail.
Yeah.
It's going to go down. You're going to have problems. So I think there's always a spot for a custom gun that's just going to run.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially with the heart.
Yeah.
With the touch of John Sim's hand.
Right. Yeah.
All right, John. John, what do you call this? In expansion, because I know how serious you are, how you love what you're doing today. In fact, kudos to you. Really
Thanks.
congratulate
Thank you.
Yeah.
People just don't know going to the next level of business is really a tough decision.
Sure.
And not only that, there's going to be some hurdles in between. But the community supports you like you have been supporting the community. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But just on the business side, what do you call this? In the next year, how many guns are you looking at making?
So I want to get down to doing approximately 3 open guns a month. That's kind of the goal.
Okay.
So the reason I asked that, guys, see, 3 open guns.
Yeah.
We go in line now.
Yeah.
Are you backed up now?
I am currently booked out to kind of the end of November.
Wow.
Which
That's
is
awesome.
That's such a blessing. I
Yeah,
can't thank these people enough.
Definitely.
And just a couple of these guys I've never even met.
Wow.
They're purely word of
That's
mouth
awesome.
through a friend. They're like, hey, you got to buy it from this guy.
So roughly how long would it take from start to finish? Like 3 or 4 months, you would say, to build one?
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Whew. Okay, John, just before I go to the fun part.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you call this? Invite people about, tell who John is. Why would we want to buy your gun? All of this stuff. Knock to them. Hey, come on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, just the passion, like you said. I mean, they know they're going to be in good hands, right? You're not just giving money to a big company of like, hey, I hope I get a gun in a couple months.
There you go. Actually, that's very important to us,
Yeah.
We would want to know who made our guns, and it's really, again, your word, reliable.
Right. No, that's important, man. I mean, with me, if I were, every shooter at least that we've talked to that's been shooting for a while has gone through this process where I had probably 4 or 5 open guns, right? And if you think about it, why hey, that's a lot. Well, you don't need like 5 open guns, right? And but as you progress as a shooter, it just you're always using a specific, maybe 1, maybe 2 as a backup.
Your main gun. Yeah.
Your main gun, right? And the rest, because you've already kind of evolved and tried this, tried that. And I've done it in the limited division.
Yeah.
I had like 6 limited guns.
You're like Miko. 1 gun per stage.
Oh, yeah.
different builders, but
Yeah.
you would always kind of hone down. I'm like, all right, well, I kind of don't want this builder. This one fits my hand, and this, that, and like I said, that evolution as a shooter, knowing what your proper equipment would do to you on especially when on
major matches.
major matches, right?
That's right.
That's super important.
Exactly. I have something for you for fun. Let's do this one. A first clean run on a rough or tough stage, or delivering a custom gun to a client.
That's a good one.
I think it's easy because I have shot for so long, and while I appreciate a great run, delivering the gun and just getting the feedback of wow, I love that initial reaction. You really want to see a true reaction, and seeing that of like wow, that's mine. I really hit home, and I really appreciate that.
In fact, that's the goal of every businessman,
Sure.
a custom gun like you. Maybe this is a good time for you to show us your gun.
Yeah.
We're this
just
guy
over
right
here.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So this
Look
is
at that.
this is tungsten Cerakote, along with graphite black.
Very nice.
Just seeing the 2 different colors there, that's it's simple, but it is definitely unique to this
beautiful.
customer.
Yeah.
This is his gun.
I like the color.
Look at that color. What color is that again?
This is called tungsten.
Tungsten.
So in the sun, it does have a little flake in it as well, so it does reflect to the sun.
I was holding it earlier, and I was playing around with it, it's smooth. Like the action was smooth. That slide to frame.
And that, what you just said right there, is kind of what differentiates me from everybody else, right? Wow. So it may look just basic, but the feel and the function of it is what I'm going for. That's really what I care about, and I want it to run for a long time.
Yeah. Wow. Speaking of, you just showing us the open gun. So what is there an upgrade you think, or a feature on an open gun that you think it's underrated?
Underrated? No, I think they're cookie cutters. I think everybody's doing the thumb rest nowadays. They're doing shielded safeties. So a shielded safety. Can we get a pic of it again?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So the shielded safety is huge nowadays because running a light spring on your slide, if you're barely brushing that slide with your thumb on a basic safety, it's going to down your gun.
Yeah.
So a shielded safety is a simple add, and you should have it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because you sometimes you're automated already, and
you can
you're
ride the
shooting,
slide,
right? And you can ride the slide, and this is coming. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. On limited, there are no shielded safety when if you buy a 2011, you have to add it, and you have to buy it as an accessory.
Right.
Yeah. But how many times I've gripped my support hand a little bit stronger, and this thumb hits the slide, it's malfunctioning.
Actually,
exactly. Yeah.
That is so right. Wow. Let's talk about personality. If you were not building guns today, what would you be doing today?
Probably still cars. I've done cars for so long, and I would just keep doing it. I never disliked doing what I was doing. Right, I've done it for so long. Worked for a good team, great team, good company. It was just time for a change, so I would still probably be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, awesome. Yeah. Cars, right?
Cars.
So, John, it's really good having you here in the show, right? And how will people or your avid fans out there reach out to you?
So on the website, you can go to syguns.com. Mm-hmm. Reach me on there. You can just send it through the contact form. Or Instagram, my Sandbag Sims. I do communicate through Messenger on there. I'm constantly posting stories if you want to get involved and see what goes on behind the scenes.
Okay. Still a sandbagger.
You're still a sandbagger. A class for life.
A class for
life. All right, John, again, thank you so much for being with us tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, right?
Thank you, guys.
So that's a wrap for us today, or tonight, folks. So massive thanks to John Sims for sharing his journey from shooter to top-tier custom gun maker. So if you're serious about your gear game, you'll want to keep an eye on what he's building next.
Yes, if you enjoyed this episode, lock and load, like that button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you never miss an episode of Bullet Point.
Exactly. Got questions, or any thoughts, or maybe you're eyeing your next open gun build? Drop in the comments. We're all about leveling up together. I'm EP.
I'm JM.
Stay focused, stay fast, and we'll see you on the range. Nice. All right.